Okay, so today I will be doing my makeup and explaining the writing process through my makeup. So, in order to have a paper, you have to come up with ideas of what you want to write about, so brainstorming. So that in makeup is going to be like priming. So today I'm going to use this to prime my face. And when we got the assignment for our paper, I knew exactly what I wanted to do because it was the personal narrative. I knew exactly what I wanted to do, and I knew it wouldn't be easy to talk about, but I knew it'd be easy to write. You know what I mean? It was something that was fairly new and that happened in my life, and something that was a really big deal. So I knew that I could talk about it. So I started writing down memories that I had, and just got all of my ideas together. And then I started putting them in a time frame, like making them flow, so I didn't have something from 5 years ago and then 2 years ago and then, just making it all flow. So that was my brainstorming process. I wrote it all down on paper about 3 times, and that was my brainstorming process. So for my rough draft, we're going to be using Born This Way foundation by Too Faced. And so in your rough draft, you normally, you're going to fix whatever mistakes you've made. So that's what I did. I just wrote what I felt was on my heart about my grandfather. I wrote all the memories and, order and everything. And I wrote it all on paper because I like to write stuff on paper so that I can see what I'm dealing with. I'm a very visual person. But yeah, so I just wrote everything on paper in order and how I wanted it to be. I made my thesis statement about 3 times, because once again, I like to see stuff out, and if I don't like the way it's out, then I'll choose something else. So I didn't like a few of my thesis statements, so I just continued to write them. I finally picked a thesis statement, and I was happy with it, as well as my introduction paragraph and my conclusion paragraph. So yeah, that's kind of how my rough draft went. I wrote my rough draft probably 2 times on paper. Yeah. So for my revising, I'm going to be using L'Oreal concealer and Born This Way concealer. So like I said, I wrote it down. So I allowed my roommate to read it and tell me any constructive criticism she had. I allowed her to write down things on my paper so that I could see what I did wrong and fix it. And I also allowed my other friend, to do the same on my paper. And then when she was done, I went back myself and I did my part, because, there's always something that can be fixed. And then I blended out what my roommate and my other friend told me could be done differently, and I blended out what I told myself that I could do differently, and then it made something better than what I started with, and that's how that goes. So for my editing, I'm going to be using some powder to set my concealer. I don't know if this actually works. I just know that other people do it, so I do it. So with my editing, I wrote down on paper again my rough draft, but this time I made those changes that my friend and my roommate and myself wrote down. And so after I rewrote it. I left it for a few days, and I went back to it so that I could see it with fresh eyes, because at this point I was kind of tired about writing. So yeah, I left it for a few days and I just went about my other business. Like, I'm about to do my eyebrows. So this is also editing, because there's got to be a final draft. This paper was really fun to write. Not fun emotionally, but it was nice to write about something that I had been dealing with. Because it's been 4 years since well, 5 years since my grandfather passed away. And, you know, I mean, I'm still young, so it's kind of still fresh on me or whatever, but yeah. So this is another version of editing. And that's my final draft. So for my final draft, I typed it out on my computer, I put it in MLA format, and that was that. Thank you.